Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today, we've got a single release, a pretty notable release, a fun release, a very different release, okay? We're talking about the latest from Pat Travers titled Swing. Some of you may have heard about this, okay? This is an album that Pat decided to do to pay homage to all the great swing and big band jazz records of like the 40s and 50s and do them kind of Pat Travers style. So, but keep the, original idea and kind of formula of these original tunes by, Duke Ellington and Louis Prima and Glenn Miller, Woody Herman, so on and so forth. Pat wanted to kind of keep the kind of feel of a lot of these early swing classics, but throw in some sizzling Pat Travers lead guitar work, right? Sounds like a pretty cool concept. It's actually a pretty cool album. So this is put out by the folks at Purple Pyramid Records, right? You only have 8 tracks. It's roughly about a half hour long, right? It's not a very long album, but a lot of fun. You got classics like Sing, 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 Opus 1, Is You or Is You Ain't My Baby, In the Mood, Taking the A Train, Let the Good Times Roll, Apple, Honey, and Tenderly. So, some of you may be like, "Ooh, I don't recognize the titles of any of those songs." Trust me, you've heard all these, all right? This is the stuff, depending on what age you are, this is the stuff your parents and your grandparents used to listen to. Me growing up as a kid, I got to hear my grandparents, especially my Italian grandparents, listening to a lot of this stuff. My parents listened to a bit of this stuff. But this was like, popular music back in the 40s and the 50s. But it's just really cool to hear Pat's, like I said, scorching guitar work to some of these old big band jazz classics. All right, it's mostly instrumental. Pat sings, I think, on 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I believe there's vocals on 2, but it's just a lot of fun. You got the full horn section, all right? You got the groove-laden rhythms. Pat's doing all the guitar work. It's just a lot of fun, And some of you might be saying, yeah, but you know what? I really just want to hear Pat Travers play his brand of, bluesy, funky rock and roll and hard rock. Well, I think if you're a Pat Travers fan, you will listen to this and you will really enjoy it, okay? Because his guitar work, it's still signature Pat Travers blistering guitar work, just housed inside fantastic arrangements of all these kind of big band jazz classics. All right, a lot of fun. I love the kind of back and forth between the horn section and Pat. Okay, the album swings. It's called Swing for a reason. I'd put this. I had a blast with this, and I'm going to keep blasting this because it's just so much fun, and it brings me back to a time, when music was a much not simpler in as far as like composition wise, but there was just a naivety and a simplicity and a joyousness about music from that era. And here we have Pat kind of like transplanted in that. It's just a lot of fun. So Pat Travers, Swing, lots of great guitar work, lots of great swinging, grooving tunes. It's got a great old school feel, and I really give Pat a lot of kudos for doing something like this. I'm sure this was kind of like a little labor of love for him, a little kind of fun one-off, and you know what? I had just as much fun listening to it as I'm sure he had making it. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Full review on our website. Of course, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, here on YouTube basically every day. So stay tuned. We got more stuff coming up for you in the days ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.